Hey film fans, welcome to Cinepro, your ultimate hub for all movie recaps. From heartwarming classics to the latest blockbusters. The events begin with a young man named Yuck, who was out with his girlfriend Jenny enjoying the fresh air and the beautiful nature. But they were lost and didn't know how to get back to where they started their journey. By chance, they see an island in the distance and decide to head towards it. An hour later, they safely reach the island. Jenny says, "I'll go onto the island to see where we can sit." He replies, "I'll tie the boat to the shore and follow you." She walks through the forest, hoping to find someone living there. She reaches a place fenced off with wires and starts calling out loudly, but no one responds. She continues walking through the forest when suddenly she hears frightening sounds and feels like something is watching her. She looks around, scared and unsure of what kind of animal it is. But suddenly, the dog grabs her by her leg and drags her all over the island. Yuck hears her screaming and says, "I'm coming for you, just tying the boat." The dog keeps attacking her until she dies. 3 days pass since this incident, and we see a plane heading to the same island. On board are 5 people planning to spend some quality time on the island. Among them are 2 brothers, Matt and John, along with Matt's girlfriend Nikki, a guy named Max, and his girlfriend Sarah. They're heading to their uncle's island, which he left them before he passed away. They haven't been to the island in 13 years and are very excited because they missed it. They safely reach the island, and their uncle's house is right in front of them on the shore, so they don't have to walk far. They tie the plane with a rope to a wooden post so the waves don't carry it away. They enter the house, admire its appearance, and enjoy every moment there. Matt takes his brother John to their uncle's garage near the house, and they are surprised to find their uncle's car still there, just as it was. They assume it's broken since it hasn't been used in years. They refuel it, and John tries to start it, only to be surprised that it works just fine. Meanwhile, Sarah is in the house's kitchen preparing something for them to drink outdoors. Max and Eve are beside her, helping out. Suddenly, the electricity cuts out, so they head to the basement to check the meter and see where the issue is. Thankfully, they manage to restore the electricity. The next day, they head to the sea to swim and enjoy their time together. While sitting in front of the house, they are surprised by a small dog approaching them. Matt plays with it and says, "Maybe someone was on the island and this dog escaped from them." Since it seems like a friendly dog, they decide to let it stay with them in the house. Sarah grows very fond of the dog to the point that she wants to take it with her when they leave. Max goes into one of the rooms to grab something and finds the dog standing in front of him. The dog stares at him. Then he leaves the room. Sarah asks him, "What's wrong? Did you upset the dog?" He replies, "Nothing." Sarah and John go to comfort the dog and make amends. Sarah sees it standing at a distance and approaches to pet it. Suddenly, a female dog attacks her, seemingly the mother coming to defend her pup. Unfortunately, the dog bites Sarah's leg and leaves her injured. John carries her into the house after the attack. Matt tries to treat the wound but realizes it's serious because the dog's teeth deeply punctured her leg. He warns her that she might get an infection or rabies and needs treatment as soon as possible before anything happens. They decide to return home the next day to get Sarah treated. John, however, gets upset and wants to stay on the island. He says, "A dog bit me once and I didn't get treated or anything. Look at me now, I'm fine." Sarah asks Matt, "Is it a problem if I delay treatment?" Matt replies, "I don't think so, but the most important thing is to get treated within a week." So they agree to stay for 2 or 3 more days before leaving. The next day, they have breakfast together in front of the house, laughing and joking around. But Sarah is focused on eating and behaves strangely, devouring her food aggressively. John grabs his bow and arrow and says, "I'm going for a walk in the forest. If I find any animals, I'll hunt them for fun. Anyone want to join me?" He takes Matt and Max, but Nikki decides to stay at the house with Sarah. Sarah doesn't seem to care about anything happening around her and keeps eating meat like a wild animal. After entering the forest, Max separates from them to explore and take pictures of the beautiful nature. He hears some rustling sounds around him and suddenly finds himself face to face with 2 dogs. So he pretends to be afraid and runs away from them. Out of shock, he falls on his face and he finds his friends. So he says to them, "There were dogs that wanted to kill me." Suddenly, the guy we saw at the beginning of the movie appears in front of them. He was drowning in his blood, and the dogs didn't leave a single part of him intact. He tells them, "You have to get out of here. The dogs don't like you being here." Suddenly, a dog attacks him, and the rest of the dogs gather around him. Some attack his arm, others his leg, and others his head. The group takes advantage of the distraction and runs toward the house. When they arrive, they find the girls coming out of the water with a group of dogs standing on the hill watching them. They call out to the girls and urge them to enter the house quickly. The dogs chase after them, trying to catch them before they can get inside. Everyone manages to get in except for Nikki, who is grabbed by her pants by a dog. John pulls out a bow and arrow and aims at the dog, but the dog dodges, and the arrow hits Nikki's leg. They carry her inside the house and lock themselves in. They give her alcohol to numb her body and ease the pain, then remove the arrow from her leg, causing her to scream in agony. Later, Sarah says, "The dogs don't want us here. We have to leave." They realize this is the same phrase that was told to them by Yak before he died. They also notice that Sarah is not acting like herself, behaving strangely. They decide to find a way to leave. While Max is talking, a dog attacks him through the window but doesn't kill him. The dog stares into Sarah's eyes without moving. Suddenly, it lunges at Sarah, but John grabs it by the neck, and Matt helps him until they kill it. They gather all their belongings and head to the plane to leave before anyone else dies. However, Max looks out the window and is shocked to see that the plane has drifted away with the tide. They realize the dogs had chewed through the rope with their teeth to cut off their hope of escape. As soon as the dogs disappear, John gathers his courage, jumps into the water, and swims toward the plane to bring it closer to shore. He retreats, and the dogs chase him. Fortunately, he makes it back before the dogs catch him. When one of the dogs emerges, Max hits it with a club. They all retreat to the house and lock themselves in, watching helplessly as the plane drifts away with the tide, their only means of rescue gone. They board up the windows with wood for safety. Matt wonders how the dogs could be so intelligent, understanding that the plane was their escape route. Meanwhile, Sarah develops a fever. Matt reassures her, saying it might not be from the dog bite, but perhaps due to the changing climate or something else. Matt suggests to his brother that they head to the dog facility, hoping to find a communication device there. Since the facility is far from their location, they decide to use the car in the garage to reach it. However, going on foot would leave them vulnerable to the dogs. Luckily, there is a rope connecting the house to the garage. They decide to use the rope, but it's weak and might not support their weight. Nikki volunteers, saying she is light enough for the task. She successfully makes it to the garage through the rope, enters through the upper window, and tries not to make any noise to avoid alerting the dogs. However, the dogs are already aware of her presence and surround the garage. She reaches the car safely and locks herself inside, trying to start it, but to no avail. The dogs attempt to break in. Racing against time, she opens the car's roof, climbs onto the garage roof, and escapes through the same window she entered from, locking it behind her for safety. She becomes trapped, unable to return to the house because the house's height is greater than the garage's. John comes up with a plan. He ties a rope to an arrow and shoots it toward her so they can pull her back using the rope. While tying the rope around herself, a dog attacks her, almost killing her, but they manage to pull her back at the last moment. They keep pulling until she safely returns to the house. At night, John talks to Sarah, telling her he feels she isn't herself and asks how she's feeling. She replies that she feels fine. Matt gets angry at his brother, blaming him for insisting they come to the island. John defends himself, saying he only wanted them to have a good time. Matt accuses him of being foolish and says they should have asked about the island before coming. John retorts, saying Matt is just like their father, always blaming others for mistakes. Nikki tries to calm John, saying his brother loves him and is probably just stressed. She reassures him that they will make it out safely. While they are talking, the electricity goes out. Max says he knows where the breaker is in the basement and goes to check it out. Despite being scared of encountering a dog, he reaches the breaker safely and fixes the problem. However, as he returns, the power goes out again. In the darkness, he trips over a box and falls. When he gets up, he notices an opening in the basement leading outside. Suddenly, 3 dogs attack him, tearing into his flesh as he screams. The group hears his cries and rushes to the basement, but they find him dead. They close the door to prevent the dogs from entering and place a heavy desk behind it for extra security. The dogs try to enter through the windows. Sarah and Nikki attempt to block the doors and windows, but the dogs break into the house from all directions. The group is forced to retreat to the second floor and lock themselves in. One of the dogs attacks Matt, but John saves him. They all make it upstairs safely, locking themselves in and trying to calm down. They can think while Nikki treats the wound on Matt's back as they prepare to leave the island and seek treatment. Matt notices papers related to a dog training institution and realizes they were conducting experiments on the dogs, not training them. John asks his brother how their uncle got hold of those papers, suspecting their uncle might have been involved in the crime. Matt defends their uncle, saying he was responsible for animal cases and would never do such a thing. The next day, they confirm the dogs have left the house and quietly head to the garage to get the car. They safely reach the garage, but since the car's starter is broken, Matt pushes the car while his brother drives, hoping it will start. The car starts, but Matt falls to the ground and finds himself facing 3 dogs. He runs fast and manages to get into the car. They retrieve Alex and the arrow from his brother, but a dog jumps in front of John while he's driving, causing him to lose control. Alex drops the arrow, but Matt manages to enter the car and they are safe, thankfully. John tries to steer away from the dogs area, driving aimlessly, nearly falling off a cliff, but he stops the car just in time. They head back to the house. A dog jumps and grabs onto Matt, but Matt strangles it to prevent it from biting him. John crashes the dog into a pole. When they reach the house, Nikki comes out and tells them that Sarah refuses to come down. John goes up to convince her to leave. While talking to her, a dog enters. Sarah stares into the dog's eyes, and the dog stares back at her. She tells John to leave through the window while she handles the dog. John hesitates to leave her. He confronts the dog and throws it off the roof. He lands on his arm, writhing in pain. Sarah fights the dog until they both fall out of the window, and unfortunately, a wooden plank pierces both of them, killing them. They take the car and head to the institution. They find it locked with iron bars, so they climb over and explore the place themselves, trying to understand what exactly happened there. They confirm that experiments were indeed conducted on the dogs. They try to contact someone to rescue them, but discover a broken wire in the communication tower. John volunteers to fix it. While on the tower, he notices a yacht on the shore, which we understand belongs to Yuka and Jenny, seen earlier in the film. However, John gets electrocuted and falls to the ground. The electric shock causes a fire in the institution, with Nikki still inside. John and Matt are surrounded by dogs and fight them off with all their strength. Matt grabs a bat and keeps hitting them to protect his brother. Nikki sees the situation and devises a plan. She makes a loud noise to draw the dogs toward her, turns on a gas cylinder, and sets up a trap. When the dogs attack her in the building, she blows up the place, killing several of them. However, Matt loses control of his emotions because Nikki sacrificed herself for them. He tells John there's no hope for survival, as the dogs will kill them anyway. John tells him about the yacht on the shore, suggesting they could escape. Before he finishes his sentence, they find themselves surrounded by more dogs and lose hope, surrendering to death. At that moment, a car bursts onto the scene, and to their surprise, Nikki is still alive. They get into the car with her and escape the dogs. The daring Nikki drives the car into the water. They swim to the yacht and manage to get away from the shore, thankful for a new lease on life. All 3 are injured and need to return home safely for treatment. John mentions he's hungry, noting there's no food on the yacht. When he opens a door, he is shocked to find the dog standing in front of him, ready to attack them. The film ends on this scene. If you liked today's video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive all new updates. See you in the next video. Goodbye.